Good, how's it going?
Things are good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, just finished up some work stuff and yeah, I got ranked today, which was cool. I mean, I'd rather have gotten ranked tomorrow, but I got ranked today, so that's cool.
I didn't even see the rankings today. What did you wind up
I
with?
I am number 13. Lucky number 13. A number that everyone thinks is lucky.
Hmm.
Um,
You sound
so
not. You do not sound enthused.
No, I don't. Honestly, I'm not bummed about it. I think it was like over the summer I got ninth, and then now I'm at 13th. Like there are worse drop offs, and I had such a tough second half of the year. So I actually am pretty happy that it was even at 13th. I thought it could have gone worse than that. That's for sure.
Yeah, it can.
So yeah. So, and honestly, it's a cool time of year. I don't know. It's a nice little celebration. It's cool to see the results. I even just like forgot about and was like, oh yeah, I did that. I did that thing, or felt good about that. So yeah, it's a nice little positive reflection, especially after the confident mind stuff I was talking to you about a little while ago.
Mm-hmm. No, all of
Ah,
that makes
yeah.
sense. I was the only thing I was gonna comment there was it's it's pretty common after you get ranked like in the top 10 that people start gunning for you and you suffer like a worse like next season. That's
Mm,
like because like the thing is you then get like a target painted on you because beating you
yeah.
is now beating a top 10 player, and that's a really big deal. Like people want to beat because it's just there's a lot of incentive behind that. So like I've faced it. Basically, anyone who's been in top 10 has faced this at some point. Wizrobe has faced it. Like fucking Axe has a million times. Mango countless times. So this is normal. Like believe it or not, this is pretty normal. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I felt pretty like I definitely felt medium gunned for sure. I don't really know how other people talk about me in a competitive context because I don't really get that perspective from fellow competitors that much. Like I'll have fun practicing with people, we'll play, whatever, but like I don't in prep for people the same way I'll be like, "Oh yeah, they do this a lot. They do that. This is a general thing." Like, I don't really know what people say.
Okay, but let me ask
Um,
you. Let me ask you something. When we have prepared for tournament sets, like you and I, it's not always like problem matchups. Sometimes we just know we're fighting like like Crudo or something, or
yeah.
Jmook. We know we're fighting Jmook, or we know we're fighting like yeah. It's just
There's just an archetype to the person. Like there's a maybe archetype's not the right word, but there's a mold, and you're like, okay, when I think of playing Crudo, there's just a few things that come to mind that are different from playing Jmook. Exactly.
exact yes, and it's worth brushing up on those things. So I imagine that like it's probably very similar for people versus you.
Yeah, I think so. It'll be. I mean, honestly, it's just a spectrum of like Fox players and whatever the axes are of like some level of like aggression versus baiting versus like just your tendencies towards certain play styles. So, um, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I
So I
don't
see.
have puff vods today, unfortunately. I wanted to get a bit more puff practice in this week, but I just got to talk to Faust and see if Jakob is around for some games. But I sent you two Joshman ones because I had a really fun session with him on I think it was Saturday or Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think it was Saturday, and yeah, it was just like really productive session. And I feel quite fortunate that it just my mentality was in the right way, and I'm trying to lock on to what made it such a good day. It wasn't a great day because I was like winning everything or anything. It was actually just quite a back and forth session, but I felt quite illuminated on the interactions. A mix of what we had talked about and maybe more of a willingness to play certain spots differently, I guess, that I just was struggling with prior. Um, so yeah, we can watch
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. I've opened. You can see my screen, right?
Yep. Yeah. And Josh is white. We've decided we're switching. He's gonna go white fox from now on. I
You
think he's a
know.
Leffen fan.
You know. I appreciate that you actually put your tag in these, and that
Yeah.
Josh's tag is like so like. I feel like that's a
Spoonful of
very
hot dog.
yeah. I feel like it's a very Josh man user tag.
Yeah. Well, normally he's love bow, but he hasn't been Love Bow for the last little while. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to go through these games after the fact. I just felt so good about them. Everything felt like I was playing really quite a bit slower than what I'm used to doing. But as a result, actually, I kind of have like a mental model I want to run by you too and see what you think.
Yeah.
I mean, we can watch. Maybe we'll watch this game and then go from there. But what felt so different to me about this session that
Your rhythms are.
I know.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No. It's just was I just had a lot more respect for that initial dash forward that we sort of talked about. I know we got stuck on drills a lot last time. We were going all over. Was it drills? I forget. There was like, or spot dodges. Sorry.
Spot dodges. Yeah, we went deep.
Spot dodges was yeah. But yeah, just a huge difference I was noticing was how I was feeling, and I didn't look through these games, so I really don't know how badly someone wins or loses. But I just picked one near the start of the session and near the end of the session. And I really just like, I guess what became clear to me, and it sounds like a silly revelation to have because of course everybody's different, but Josh just plays certain spacings differently than other people. Like he's more comfortable at certain distances than other people. And so it can be harder to like understand what he wants when you're playing him because he plays it in a different spacing than I'm used to. Like Cody and Moki and their like comfort levels in certain spots all feel the same to me, and then Josh feels like he plays those spots a little different.
So what would be an example of that? What's a distance that he's like hard? Like
2/3 stage distance. He's really hard at like those 2/3. He knows how to dash dance just close enough a lot, and I don't feel that some of the Foxes I play against get their money's worth out of their dash dance. Even the best players, I feel like this is an area Josh is better at that thing than they are.
So tell me when we're in one of those spots in this match.
Sure, right here, there. That required me to call Josh out there. This was a good play by Josh, honestly, giving me enough space here where it's like, is it okay to take space or not? Because he specifically likes to do these like snap and airs as well. So in this spot, this required me going, like, basically, I'll use the beats system, I guess, but 2 full beats forward to get his ass for doing this. I opened myself up to a lot of risk doing this.
Yeah, you overshot.
Yeah, and this is the kind of outplays that I don't have to make versus a lot of people, and I was a little more willing to do in this session. And it all started with, not to like go too far in one direction, just so we can talk about it, but like if you go back to how it all happens, I'm over here, sure, and then pause. The reason this was so big for me and to do more of these spots this session was that oftentimes I will fall for Josh's baits really simply. He's just in a position that feels like he might come in, so I'll throw out like an up smash or a dash forward up smash or just something that's like more or less like quite committal and is contingent on him deciding to come in at the exact timing it looks like he wants to come in. And instead I just trusted that like he really didn't actually want to come in and made a different play that I couldn't react to. Just no reaction, just I trust that he's not going to be in this spacing at this time. And it's a bit more pure of a neutral game than I normally play. There's a lot more reaction involved in my play normally.
Yeah, I want to actually kind of compliment you on something else. I actually think that the way that you structured this actually denies him a lot of the things that you're worried about. So I want you to take a look at this. So when do you think he would do his nair usually?
Honestly, about in line with the platform if he's trying to make sure he like slides to the edge of the stage with it, like about there.
Yeah.
But yeah, about where he's turning around pretty much as I'm dashing forward, but he couldn't react to my dash forward.
Right. So what I'm saying here is even against the nair, I think you actually just trade spots with him.
Yeah.
So like he's going to go past you and you're going to go over here. So this is actually still good against a lot of the undershoots that he could do here. That's kind of the secret to this play. He has to he has to guard this space. He can't attack this space.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it like that, to be honest.
But that makes sense, right? Because like
it makes total sense that like if he jumped at that moment, basically,
to attack you forward,
he'd go over me.
Yeah, because you're small too. Like look at how small you are.
Yeah, I think the reluctance like to believe that it's interesting you pointed it out because it's not something I'd considered, is just that thing I mentioned about him doing these like snap nairs a lot, is that he just gets those out really fast. So I didn't trust that he would like go over me. A lot of times he'll do, instead of naring all the way into the corner, he'll nair in place, basically like a drifted back instant nair. So it's just really safe and hard to contest. So although he doesn't beat me if I'm all the way in the corner, he still like secures space with a hard to trade with move, being just like nair, just having it in that spot. Though at this percent, up smash calls it out pretty hard. So if I thought that was coming, that might have been on the table.
Yeah, the other thing
I just mean like that exact right at that platform line right here. Like he can do those snap nairs. Obviously, he's decided he's going back to center, but there again, those snap nairs can come out. I think the exact time I chose to dash is actually it is really good. I just didn't mean it to be that good.
We never mean for our crazy plays to be that good. Like
it's true.
like, but here's the other thing I kind of want to point out here. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You can actually enter run here. So one thing I would kind of consider for like if he's doing those snap nairs, like this is your run frame basically. So one thought I would have is if he does his nairs drifting away from you, what if you entered run, crouched here, and then swept his landing on D-tilt with D-tilt?
Oh, interesting. Like, do you mean like run and like hold the C stick down, or do you mean literally like enter crouch in the spot? I think I might get naired. Okay.
Yeah, we don't but we don't care if we get naired. If we're CCing into like up smash or D-tilt.
How many frames do you actually need to be holding down for out of run for it to be like CC?
1.
Okay, that's why it always feels that way to me. I get a lot of good random CCs out of run as it is. And I think that's why my scraps turn out so well, is because I kind of do that a lot, but I didn't really know the science behind it.
Yeah, so like let's break this down. Like I'm just gonna break this down a little bit so you can see like my perspective on this, because I think that there's like, so like let's think about the pathways we've like kind of assigned to Joshman here and like how they work, right? So we kind of identified that there's like he has a pathway forward that looks sort of like this, where he like does some kind of narrow approach like so.
And it kind of is somewhat an overshoot in a way, because I feel like he'll want to really hang on to that jump. Like he's not going to fast fall that almost.
Yeah, so like
committing to that jump arc, it's like it is a call out in and of itself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so like really he has this range to work with, right? Like this is kind of like where he can go, and we can kind of acknowledge that it's more biased towards the back, so this can be yellow, because this is kind of like caution, this is like danger. But like by us crouching and becoming smaller here, like from our side, I'm thinking that if this is us, if we like go from here, because he does shrink a little bit when he crouches. Maybe he's like this tall. Actually, we'll use a box for this. Boxes are a little better. Haha, boxes are better. Didn't.
They sure are. not for long.
But like, if you become small like this, right, and you slide forward a bit, like we're dealing with that nair, and then if he does this like nair away from us, I think that we might just go. Like, what is the motion of the snap nair? Like, this is where you're gonna have to help me out a bit.
It's like when I say snap nair, I really mean it might as well be a pivot nair. It feels like it's fucking fast, and the trajectory of it is like more acute than that. It's even more acute than that arch you've just drawn.
So like that.
Like I mean, like a narrower angle. He barely moves from where. Yeah. There you go.
Gotcha. And like because
it's a fast fall. He doesn't get to go very far.
Gotcha. So and then the hitbox is probably like immediately out and then falls away like around here, basically.
No, if he does it, I feel like it goes out a little further, but you got the idea. Like maybe draw the first circle further to the left than it currently is.
I see.
It's not that stubby. There you go. That's what it feels like it's fucking with, basically.
Okay, got it. And then it like just follows from here all the way down to the end of like the thing. See,
and it is usually the startup that is the problem, because he's picked it in a good spot that I'm right beside him.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. So I actually think
it's instant.
I think that this running crouch could really work then, because I'm thinking like it just gives us a lot of weight. Like we're still sliding forward a little bit, like with our residual momentum, right? Like we're going like
yeah. Yep.
Okay. Internet. Good work, internet. Anyway, like, we're still sliding forward a little bit on our residual momentum. And, like, yeah, like, we enter Crouch immediately. I just think that there's, like, some value as this is a solution. Because it seems to be doing a lot of the things that this, like, it seems to be accomplishing a lot of what this play is accomplishing anyway. And the cool thing here is that, like, by breaking your movement up just a smidge, you're still able to dash forward after if he still ultimately retreats over here and shields.
Yeah, it's true. I do think that there is a risk of losing my opportunity to, like, chase him into the grab I got.
Mm-hmm.
It's, like, specifically because I kept running after him that I was able to catch that.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
But fair enough is that it's still, if you want to define what a win is in this situation, I got out of the corner and he didn't hit me for it. Or he didn't get a reward.
Yeah, and we dealt with certain threats, like, more effectively than we would have with, like, the thing that we did. Like, if he had done the snap nair, I think that we would have just gotten nicked by it. Now, whether or not that's a problem or not at 5 is, like, another question entirely. But, like, the point is, it's, like, it's a way to, like, to loosen the system at a point where it might make sense for us to loosen it in context. Like, it just depends on our read of the situation and what we think is going on. I can see what you mean, though. This looks good. Interesting. Okay. Just out of curiosity, just to confirm, up air doesn't kill here, right? Like up through.
No,
like,
fuck no.
Okay.
Honestly, it's better to just go for the mix-up of back air the one way or the other way.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah. It's tough because there were so many good games in the session that, I mean, if you get bored and want reading material, I'll just send you the VODs anyway, just so you can have.
I'm never bored watching you.
But the what's it called? Okay, I'll pause for a sec. Just because I want to run this framework by you because I thought it was kind of interesting, and it's not necessarily something that people think about it this way, but it just sort of occurred to me because do you know who Justice is? The Fox player, Texas, and does a lot of dope editing, combo videos. So Justice asked me about how I deal with faster foxes, but he said it might be hard to answer this question because I'm usually very fast. So it's like, am I getting outsped by people or something as a concept? And as I was typing it out, it just sort of dawned on me that there's this weird rock, paper, scissors analogy, or I guess parallel between the masher, the waiter, and the thinker. And this mental model just sort of emerged to me, and it made, after typing it out to Justice, I went into the session with Josh with a little bit of this in the back of my mind. And basically the idea is that there's just like really clear cues in Melee when someone wants to be one of those things. They'll sit and shield too long, or they will mash panic the fastest thing out as possible to try and just like beat whatever you're going to do. Or there's the person that takes a little extra time to like get that tomahawk or put out a grab in a tough spot. And they all have like just an interesting interaction with each other where like between two mashers, the faster masher wins. Between two waiters, like nothing happens until someone eventually becomes a thinker. And between two thinkers, yeah, you're playing neutral. But what suddenly just became clear to me while I was playing even through it is I was like, oh, Josh wins in a lot of these situations because I've opted to mash out and it's almost like it almost returns to the spot dodge discussion of like I'm overprotecting my space and all he's doing is waiting for me to overreact to like his bait and then just go from there. But the masher waiter thinker thing, I just have been like playing with that in mind the last even week or so since I typed that out. And almost in every session, it just becomes clear to me where a person is like really trying to think their way to an answer, where they're just waiting for you to fuck up, and where they are actually trying to just like get the fastest thing out in hopes that you are in the spot when they do the fast thing. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I hope that is coming across cohesively, but it really helps simplify things.
So mashers like act immediately, basically, right? Like they just kind of like they try to overpower the opponent in their situations.
I would say they are, overpower is a word. In general, they're
assertive. Like they put their things, they actually like click the buttons.
They click the button, but it can be done defensively. There's defensive mashing, where it's just like the second you enter their space, they just mash something, like a shine out or something.
Okay.
And what is it? I'm really good about that.
So what is the distinction between that, and then you've got like the waiter is the person who is trying to like let the opponent go first. There's basically handing priority off to the opponent, right?
Yes, and there is an implied hope that the opponent doesn't know how to take their turn correctly.
Okay.
So like a waiter example would be someone trying to shine out a shield a lot. All they do is run away shield. They do a dash away shield in hopes that the opponent doesn't really understand how to interact with the shield safely, or in the correct way, and they are just panicking to get. And panic's a rich word, but sometimes it's just they feel the need to put something out that loses to shine out a shield a lot. For example,
would you consider? Sorry to interrupt, but would you consider a full hop back air player a waiter or a masher?
A masher.
Okay. Even if they're doing the bear reactively?
I think that's exactly what makes them a masher.
Okay.
I get that it's react, but that's kind of the problem, is that they just have neuron activation and then immediately back air. They're not actually I guess my point is I don't think they're reacting to like a full hop and they're back airing you out of the air. That's a little different. I mean that they just see you move forward and immediately put out a back air.
Right, so they full hop preemptively to like dodge like preemptively. So you enter their zone, they just click.
Yeah, it's more about a timing decision because you've done something that feels threatening to them. It's basically like how do they interpret these game states and how do they choose to play them? And I realize it's reductive a little bit, but sorting things into this category made it really clear where I felt Josh was thinking through things versus waiting for me to make the mistake versus just trying to beat me outright in scraps.
Yeah, so like what would you consider a thinker? A thinker is somebody who basically plays the next step of the interaction, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This might be like someone who sees the waiter going for all these shield attempts and decides to not waste a beat on aerials into shine grab and just simply grabs them the first time. That is a thinker interaction to me.
This makes perfect sense to me. This has, I see similarities here to the undershoot overshoot with punish triangle.
Yep. Definitely. There's parallels here. I just the reason I like this is because I think it places more emphasis on like player thought patterns and what they present in situations. So like
you're contextualizing to me one of the defining traits of the Smash games is that there's two rock paper scissors systems that are running concurrently. You've got the one that most players are more familiar with, which is attack, grab, shield, or attack, grab, shield / crouch, depending on your percent. And that would be one of them. That's like what I consider the what you're doing. And then you have the how you're doing it, which would be the undershoot, like the positional triangle, which would be undershoot, overshoot, whiff, punish. And what I think the advantage to, like, the thing that, like, really makes these games skill intensive is that it's not that you have one of these systems happening, it's that you have two of them. So because both systems are present in basically every interaction, that's where a lot of the decision making and your ability to outplay someone comes from. Because you can kind of like do like little. You can also like you can when you have a lot of finesse, you can set things up so like you undershoot certain options, but you also have like a bit of an overshoot to catch certain movements, like certain reserved movements, for example. Like it happens a lot with Marth and Fox and Pikachu with how they track the opponent using their like nairs and stuff. Maybe not like not like a full dash back all the time, depending on what they're doing. But, like, if they kind of, like, do a baby wave dash back or something, trying to outspace, like, defensive back air or whatever. What I like about your model is that, although it may be, like, a little simplistic, as you said, it does a really good job of, like, synthesizing these ideas into something cogent that isn't complicated. I think the simplicity of it is a big asset, because it allows you to like get into the head of the opponent effectively without like much mucking about.
Yeah, I think it gives it a real why. Like there is a real why. It's like, and I don't know. It just helped me decipher a lot of the feelings of like, why is Josh protecting his space that way here and not in other ways? And the truth often lies in he sees something a certain way, and I need to understand that a bit better. That's
Yeah.
really all it is. He's not magically picking options out of a hat. I've done something, either now or in the past, that makes him think that this option's good, and picking up on those things, like, of course that's how it works. Hey, the thing happened. Go back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
funny.
so that thing happened. To be honest, that's me holding down and forward because I like to go through drills a lot. Like, just I think it's a good thing to get in the habit of. But people's full sending on their drills, and you just end up behind them. You just pop out a grab if they try and greet anything. But
and we countered Nair there.
Yep. I was also highly focused on him doing those Nairs for what it's worth. So I was like, I really want to make sure that it doesn't work as much. But lo and behold, sorry, watch that again. This emerged to me. Suddenly, I'm playing the 2/3 spacing fucking great.
Yeah.
Or like half a stage length. And it was like, I was like, oh. It is like true that I can force him to.
That was like a fucking Samus wave dash back. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was exactly that. It was like it was lame as shit in a lot of ways because it was like I'm in the corner, but at the same time, like in a lot of these situations, he didn't threaten me enough here to justify a run up smash. And so like the misplay from him here is thinking that he baited me into something, and he really didn't. And he didn't like check. He didn't check that he even baited me. He just kind of was like, "Oh, I've done good enough, and now it will work," and it didn't. I do still love wave dash down in this matchup. It's never going to go away, but
that's fine. It's a stylistic choice. So you and I can agree to disagree on that. But what I really like is the wave dash back and forth here. That to me is absolutely fire, and exactly why this play works. Because, like, I'm just looking at, like, how you, like, manipulate your space. Because the thing is, I think he does think that you, like, air quotes missed because you committed to lag. It happens right here. And then it happens again here. He's, like, playing off the fact that he is technically more actionable than you, but your movement is just too slick.
Yeah, and we moved into the same spot at the same time, so he felt the need to do something. Mm-hmm. And it's like... Yeah, the answers are so abundantly clear. I just think to get this situation right is pretty hard because what I was struggling with before was this feeling of Josh always trying to keep his distance so he could play like this perfect distance. So I was deliberately in past sessions trying to like stick to him and play basically a million coin flips in a row because I knew that I'm better masher than him. When we're on top of each other, I can get out of these scraps better and find strong punishes. But it's a lot of guesswork and like just hoping that it kind of goes your way. And yeah, just like accepting that a little more. I was just like, damn, I can stay the fuck out of the way of this guy if I need to. And if he shows me something that indicates he's not willing to come in, then I will take the space back at that point. But nothing he's shown me here indicates that he's unwilling to take space yet. He just was in the middle, and then now he's coming in.
Yeah, so one thing I want to point out is you've actually established one of the strengths of the wave dash of the stand like wave dash playstyle in general, because like you both enter about each other's zone at roughly the same time, right? Like you're both advancing. But the cool thing here is because you're advancing from so far away from each other, you actually have more options than him.
Yeah.
Because you have everything. You're on stand 1. You can do it all. You can have it all. Whereas he's entering with dash, like the end of his dash, he hasn't entered his run. He's kind of trotted to get over there. So like what he has is he can dash dance, so he can turn around. He can enter run, but it's going to be kind of clunky. He can shield, he can jump, like he can up smash, he can shine. Like it makes a lot of sense that he feels the need to approach you here because of how you both got into proximity at the same time, whereas you having all your tools, boom.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's true. It's not something I really considered because I never have thought of dash dance that much as like a restrictive thing. But after we talked about it with like the HBox session, I was like thinking about it a bit more and I was like, well, it's tricky because dash simultaneously gets you there quicker if you commit right away. Like if you like need to do something at exactly the right timing, dash is like usually a better option. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of strengths to, of course, just keeping things on the table.
It's Warlock.
Yeah. And I was like just so Basically, even playing this session, I was just so determined to have like a decent answer as to why everything went down the way it did, and it just went fucking fabulously, win or lose, truly.
No, you look phenomenal.
Yeah, I was just like, you know what? If he's gonna beat me, then let's just let it happen and then figure out what actually went wrong, you know? I'm not saying he played perfectly or his peak or whatever, any of these things. I just was like,
bro, it's me. Like, you relax. We don't.
No. I know. I just think I really do believe, like, I was just like, you know what? Trust myself in these scrap spots like I always do. Nothing's changed there. I'm not really thinking much. When we're right beside each other, I'm not thinking much. But when it comes to taking space and the interaction that happens immediately after, like changes of dashing and space and stuff, that's where my brain immediately was so just like fucking locked in. Like what the fuck's that up air? I've never done that up air in my life. Who am I? Cody Schwab?
This is so
yeah. That's and I did a bunch of up airs like that throughout the session. I was just like, what the fuck? And truthfully, it's also because you know, this is an obvious melee lesson to like anybody, and we'll talk about that shine in a second. But I end up going greeting.
So I was gonna say, so like you saw that you could just shield drop here and shine him off stage, right? No.
Yeah, I tried to go for a juicier punish than I. Like, you know, on stage and hit a whole bunch of extensions. And
yeah, I know. I saw you try to nair.
Yeah,
you wanted to nair into grab, right?
Nair into grab, but nair him backwards. It wasn't to nair him forwards. Because I thought he'd be expecting off stage and DIing out accordingly. So, like, land on top of him with the nair, and it sends him under plat to the left.
Yeah, you hit this side of him. He DIs in, you grab him, you up throw him below the platform, and you cook him.
Yeah, that kind of idea. If he DIs shit enough, then nair straight into the up tilt, just because that saves a bit of time.
Back air doesn't knock over at this percent, right? Like if we take
no, it's 36%.
So if we take the easier back air, we don't lose anything if we're right, and we just do another 3 damage.
No, I think we're good. It's really just this tricky part about back air and like with knockback stacking, and it might just be my experience, but I find it easier to like reverse nair and keep them close to me than I do to hit them with the regular facing bear and keep them close to me. I don't know if it's just a drift habit of mine or something, but that nair...
like nair is better at this. I'm just wondering if it matters because of how good this situation is.
I think it kind of matters, but well, it's hard to say. If you play it back full speed or like whatever, reduced speed, but just, you know, see the whole situation.
Yeah,
I don't think I had much... if I had landed in a better spot, I might have been able to just go for down tilt instantly and have enough time. I'm kind of questioning if I had time at all. This should have been an instant grab is what it should have been. And I think, did I go for it? Let me see. That should have been... I didn't believe that second up air was connecting, if I'm being honest. I saw the first up air connect, and I didn't punish accordingly.
Yeah, grab and back throw makes so much sense there.
Yeah, just you're dashing anyway to get close. If you're a nerd about it, you could go for up smash, I guess, but that's just so not my thing to up smash that.
Yeah, up smash is the first thing that came to mind, and I like restrained myself from suggesting it because I'm like, this is Soonsay, he's not gonna go for it. Like, relax.
I know. Unless I'm pissed off at someone, I'm not doing like up smash into up smash or like shit like that because whatever. But
because you're a professional, you can say it.
I am a professional, and I also think I can get more. But it happens again, and that's a coincidence I picked this game because I couldn't get them going in all sessions, but that up air happened again. Go back.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I think it worked so well is because of just a timing thing where I was like, look at the only reason this works, and this is what I'm trying to hone in on. Go real slow here. Is
50.
I give up the space just enough that he thinks it's cool to come in and then take the space. Like, he's reacting to that little micro dash back I did. Honest to God, I really think so.
I think you're right.
Because he doesn't believe that I'm coming in.
Yeah, because you see that that's when he sets up his like dash jump.
Yeah,
like his dash and jump. Yeah.
This is a crystal ball. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that there's a really cool thing going on here that he didn't. It was twofold. He didn't believe that I'd go all the way into the corner for him, which I technically don't. But I don't think he thought I was going to take much more space than that. And he saw the dash back, so he thought, okay, I'm going to safely take some kind of space, so I'm just going to go above and maybe land on the plat safely.
So let's look at this play like under a microscope. Okay, so let's assume that you dash over here or past the Pokeball. I think if you go to the Pokeball, his play makes perfect sense. So let's do a bit of frame counting. So you've now let's go back just a smidge so we can be accurate. So one. So this is it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, he is reacting to that. Because we're within, we're right on the line of human reaction time right now. This is when the new information about what you are doing would have caught up with him for, what he was doing with the rest of it. Right? So he's committing to this play, based on what he saw, 15 frames ago. This is one hell of a bait.
Yeah, and I've noticed these up airs starting to connect with Marth players for the same reason. There's this special sauce of timing that I think Cody's honed in on. Whether he knows that's exactly why he's getting it or not, I'm not sure. But I go for the same fucking thing again there, and it almost works. It's a mix of me believing he's going to be in the air at that spot. Those couple of up airs I got were so exceptional because they were beating he wasn't falling on me with them. He was rising. It was a perfect timing connection. Some of these up airs I've been going for were genuinely because we also talked about anti-airs when you were why don't you just fucking hit him coming down on top of you? And I was you know what? Valid point. I maybe don't anti-air enough. And I was just trying it out. And lo and behold, it wasn't perfect, but I was fuck, it kind of worked.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's such good risk reward because, if they hit you with that grazing, nair, whatever. Okay, we take 8 damage, moving on with our day. But, if we connect that up air, my god, we get, to hit him with the moon. We get to pick up the moon and throw it at him.
Yeah, going for more of that, I was just the huge change that I noticed in my gameplay in the last week, and I know Rome's not building a day or anything, but I tried the drill that he tried on Moki, by the way. that drill there to do the regrab. The big difference I was making right there, it happens again. Go back and I'll tell you when to snip. Keep going, we're good. Snip right here. Sorry, I guess snip when I do the wave dash back, sorry.
No, it's all good.
In fact, you know what? Fuck it, I'm snipping. Because I'll draw.
Okay.
So wave dash back. Let me do the wave dash back, just so we can see the full screen. Okay, perfect. Yeah, snip it. Sure, I'll let you do the drawing just so we don't have to do the screen trading thing.
Yeah. Okay. But you'll let me do the drawing. Damn.
Yeah.
Mr. Top 15.
I was gonna pull out my paintbrush. You normally do the drawing. Okay. I'll let you be the artiste around here. So the reason, and this is a huge change.
He gets ranked top 15 one more year in a row, and he's just I'm a hot shit. I'll let you do the
That is top 13 to you. That is top 13.
All right, good work, Miles. Way to clout.
No, I mean, yeah, 13. Fucking anyway. So the reason and the thing I've been changing so much was I've over-respected this idea that Josh gives up space all the time. I do it too. And it's why it can be awkward to beat him is because he's willing to give up space, and it's the same idea of he employs waiting tactics well. He's not waiting for me to fuck up per se, but he's definitely making the onus on me to be right. And 100% what went on here, again, we can count the frames if you want, but I've basically been trying to give people enough space that they don't think I can contest the spaces still, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. You're basically...
But I'm giving them more than I ever thought. Basically, I realized... And sorry, you go ahead, because I have the thought in my mind. It's fine.
Yeah. So, okay, let me give you my interpretation of this, and you can tell me if it lines up with yours. So basically, these 2 points represent roughly the space your dash dances control, right? This is kind of the line that divides these. So what you're doing here is you're kind of attacking a pretty sizable chunk into his territory. You're going all the way over to about here. And if he's operating within about this kind of distance, that actually cuts into a lot of his space, but it's really far away, so it doesn't necessarily cue that hey, I'm gonna come over and challenge you.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is your move selection is phenomenal here because you use your least laggy move. You use your Nair, which is only only has 7 of L cancel. So like, it's active.
Which we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
The Nairs, just using them a little more interestingly.
Yeah. So like, you just have like a hitbox out like all the way from here to here, basically. It's very difficult for him to interact with it. You still have all these drift mix-ups along the way that you can do to potentially pull back if you need to. Like, you could probably, like, cut this Nair short to about here. Anywhere between these 2 points, and you can probably make this Nair work. And that means that there's a lot of burden on him to, like, react to this properly. So not only are you taking the fight to him, you're doing it weirdly. This to me is a Mango. This to me is very reminiscent of the Nairs Mango does with Fox.
I agree, because when I watch him play, like some of his old Marth VODs especially, he just has Nair out in shitty, weird spots that works. I don't know. They're not shitty, but you know what I mean? Where it's like, why is that Nair working? It seems a little hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
And something I want to add on, if you want to go back a little bit and we'll do another snip, just to like, even just compare and contrast how we're looking at this. I agree with your assessment of like the dash spacings. The just to like maybe highlight why I think it works so well, let's pause here. It's not so much that we have like equal dash space to me, but like let's just use 2 big circles. And so when I wave dash back there, just draw like can you put a big bubble around both Josh and I? Just a big one that spans the whole thing.
Yeah, like here.
And we'll just use like a green line to notate for a sec, just because I'm trying to indicate like a go zone and a no go zone. Is that like by wave dashing back, the green line? So I'll even, you know what? This might be easier here. Double Control Z. I will actually share paint for this one, not to like.
Okay.
Totally domineer. I just think it might be easier if I try.
Yeah,
I'll just spend 10 years. Let me snip your snip. Let me snip your.
I'll just send it to you.
All right. I'm gonna use paint because I do it ghetto style, but
there's nothing wrong.
I think you use paint 3D.
I use a snipping tool.
I ain't about that. Oh, actually, snipping tools. I use snipping tool to get it, but all right. Okay, I'm streaming now. Let's try this.
Yeah, this is how you.
I know, and so, sorry. So the whole like. Maybe I won't use a big circle just because it makes it a little more confusing. But basically, like,
just do your thing, dude. It's all good.
This is the zone. Sorry, I'll draw it here. This is the zone I was originally like that Josh needed to be worried about, basically, because it's to me the threat, and I'm not drawing like pretend Fox is still up here. It's like from here the run up smash is like the biggest. Like you get fucked up by that for sure. I mean, notwithstanding, like of course he's at 82%. I'm just saying that like at this stage. This is like a scary thing getting that close to me. So what I think went on, or at least what I like to think went on, and have to put to more of the test, is that like there's just a moving green line to Josh that like he's allowed to take so much space from me because of what I'm showing him and presenting him. Fucking pick the line. Okay. Is that the line was here. The line was here. And then I just moved it back to here deliberately, but I didn't give him any time to like I didn't keep dash dancing in this space to establish a new zone. Basically what happened is for one beat, the line went back and then the line went back again. So it's like in doing this at the exact fucking timing that I did it, I got Josh to cross into a line he wasn't allowed to cross into, but he thought he was allowed to because of what I showed him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're moving you know what it is? You are aligning. It's not that you've like changed Fox's range, it's just that you've like moved forward, thus changing where Fox's range is at a time where he was advancing.
Yeah, and he thought, yeah, exactly. So it's like I turned it into a no-fly zone exactly as he decided to enter it because he thought, from what I showed him, again, this is why it might be useful to count the frames again. The reason he dashes back in at all is because he thought I gave him the space, and then I just took it back immediately. It was a timing mix-up, ultimately. And I'm not trying to, like, overly cerebrally analyze a timing mix-up. I'm just saying that, like, I've noticed a lot more. When I give players this extra little inch of space, suddenly they think it's their fucking property. And it's, like, taking it away at that exact juncture catches people off guard so much, especially at this money percent where Nair's just going to fucking chip them, and I'm now in a position to tech chase, grab, kill, might even just up smash tech chase, and game's over. So the Nair
works?
The jaywalk works exactly because it's like it's such a weird timing thing to you don't expect them to be in that space at the time.
It's a timing and distance thing. Like they think they're safe, and then all of a sudden Jmook is in your face. Like because I used to do that. I used to do that mix up too. Like the just walk across the screen and like fuck them up for it. Like it. Well,
because you walk some analog distance and then boom, suddenly it works again. You know, and it's just like holy shit.
Surprise, Sheik. What up?
Yeah, you have to reposition for like effectively free because they were expecting a burst option, but you did a slow option. And then now on the beat that they are not expecting, now you can go a little further. And they're just like, oh, fuck, this guy took space. I wasn't ready for it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, anyway, not to like overly hark on it. I just wanted to like, I realize this is like a half and half session where I'm just like, here's how I see it. But I also think it is helpful for you to see it maybe some of the way I see it because I'm
learning a lot.
Well, it's also just helpful for it to be like, sometimes we've gone over these and you're like, but what if this? So if this analysis feels like I'm over assuming about what influence I had on Josh here, feel free to tell me also. Cause
I think what you're saying is heat. Like this sounds perfect. I have like this to me. This to me is exactly why I think you're like a top 13 player in the world, because you do pick up on things like this, and I don't think that you are overestimating your control here. If anything, the biggest takeaway I have here is, honestly, I hope you have more confidence in your ideas going forward, because like
totally.
This is fire. This is absolute like hell. I'm gonna be stealing this. I'm gonna steal this and call it the mango. Like,
yeah. It especially was prevalent with Marth because Marth is great about not being in your space when he doesn't want to be, but he is making a sacrifice in doing that, and it's like I've talked to you about it the last couple sessions, but like just this heavy emphasis on better understanding what you're showing your opponent, because I think that's where you start to get to those mango levels of play where it feels like they're just a puppet on a string a little bit. You can't do it to everyone and you can't do it all the time, but in those moments of just like, it's like this next level bait where you didn't whiff punish them. You baited them into thinking it was chill, and then you smacked them on the nose for even trying. And it just kind of reversed the role of Josh and I a little bit because it now made me the leader in this dance, and he is now kind of just has to hope that he's right and he's got the right idea, whereas I'm sort of like leading him into different spots. So it was an interesting dynamic to say the least, because in a lot of these spots he'll dash dance back and forth and then I'll just react to it, and then I'm either getting whiff punished because my reaction was like really like an up smash, like super punishable, or I like panic full hop and then I'm coming down with this badly drifted bear and he just like runs in, up smashes it there. But like point is, he did exactly basically he's done to me so much, this dabbling in and out of my space, but I think another application of that is deliberately dabbling into the space to just like make them come in sooner, or deliberately leaving the space to make them want to fill a vacuum, I guess, that you've created.
Like,
by
dabbling into the space and just staying there is also like sometimes just so fire, like just because I think I've
done a lot of run up weight and just like sit there and it's good.
It's so good.
But I also recognize that the run-up weight goes back to like my theory about the whole waiting, mashing, thinking thing. Mm-hmm. Is that like a run-up waiter, in a lot of ways, is prone to getting run-up. Like they'll get thinkered on because they're like trying to react to everything, and if someone's just ready for it and they pick the correct option the first beat, like someone gets cooked for trying that. I guess the next level to that is, are you willing to pause a beat and then hard commit to something that would beat what they're gonna do?
I feel like the buttons player is actually is the problem there, because it's like the buttons, like if you run up weight and the buttons player just sees you in their spot and just is like bah, like that that can be disastrous.
I guess if they throw like a shield up and then suddenly shine out a shield scary again, and you know that. But anyway, it's the reason I brought up the whole waiter thinker masher thing also is just it's not so much about the options anymore. It's like the why you picked those options that becomes so important. And then it just sort of informs everything else about the player. Because like my biggest puzzle in playing Josh has just been a lot of the why. He's clearly, and I've had this revelation versus Zane before, and it feels like such an arrogant thing to say, where it's like you really don't know for sure what they see. All you have is just like these options they're picking, and you're kind of just making a lot of guesses, and you can discuss it after the fact if you like VOD review with them or something. But like have been trying to come up with a mental model for a player like Josh for a while, and for something that works. And I just realized, like, damn, the truth is, he plays situations quite honestly. And he wants to make sure that if I take space from him, it was earned. And if I give space to him, that he like takes advantage of that and doesn't let me just bait him into stupid shit. So the middle ground there is, how do I make it look like I'm giving space and I'm not? And how do I give space and make it look like I'm not giving space? And so you get the wave dash back down tilts that happen on the one hand, and then you get the run in nairs that happen on the fucking other hand. It's just like, it's all just this like crazy timing fucking matrix that is revealing itself to me. So
yeah, he just doesn't give you anything for free, really. Like, that's kind of like the thing about him, isn't it? Like, he makes you earn every hit.
And people, air quotes, better than him do not. I'm really not just trying to gas Josh up, or like I've played everybody, and like the only person that makes me feel like, maybe there's like 3 to 4 people that make me feel like they work this hard. Hungry Box can be one of them. Yeah, I guess he wasn't even originally on the list, to be honest. I feel Zane is like this.
Yep.
Not Moki, actually. I don't think Moki makes this. No,
Moki is definitely not on this list. If Moki was here, I'd be like, that is so cap. That's Canadian pride. Like,
Triff does. Triff makes it fucking miserable. Well, miserable in context, because Peach, just like all the grounded options and like basically aerial CCing going on, is like just cancer. But Zane, Triff, Cody's just weird. I just feel like day to day, sometimes he's this guy and sometimes he's not. And then I get that from Josh. But yes, you also are right about Hungry Box. But HBox is kind of like Cody tier for me too, where sometimes he just shows up on the day and he feels so much easier to hit than other times. He just doesn't really make it hard.
No, I would agree with that.
Mango not playing like shit also makes it very hard. Mango's
a coin flip.
Mango might be the most like difficult to deserve a hit on. I'm not saying that you don't get to hit him, because you'll just hit him, but like sometimes it feels like you've just rolled the dice and he wasn't ready for you rolling the dice, and that's how you get your hit. And there are lots of times playing Mango where I'm like, if I really try and outthink this guy in neutral and timing all the time, I feel like I could just get worked for doing that. And it's because he is just that good at times.
I mean, Falco has the best. I will die on this hill. Falco has the best neutral in the game, bar none. His problems come from other things. So I think that like the trick to beating Falco and fighting Mango in general is accepting that you are going to have to gamble. There is no way around it.
Yeah, we can watch some KJH games in one of our sessions. Falco, I've had so much practice in lately that I don't feel that worried about it. I've had some fucking nail-biter sets versus Falcos, but overall I feel good in the matchup. And understand where I can take risks and understand that a little better. I really want to make our next session, if we can, about Puff, just leading into Genesis, because... Do
you want to meet next week?
Maybe let's bump it 1 week up. Yeah, let's do 6th if you're around, because... I leave for Genesis on the 13th, so it will be our last session before Genesis. Just in case I happen to get puffed on, I'm going to do some Peach, some Sheik, some Puff, some everything review, because I've been really, I admittedly maybe a little over-fixated, not just on Josh as a player, but like, I just feel like, I don't know how to say this without sounding like a fucking arrogant person, but a lot of my understandings from like Fox Dittos and stuff just came innately from playing it a lot and not with like a well-founded understanding of what's going on. And so the fixation here has started to become dissecting a little bit more of my gameplay and being like, why is this so good? What am I doing that makes things so difficult for people, so that I can like better understand when I'm struggling in a set, how to fix that. If they're beating it, or, you know, it just, I didn't want to keep playing on just vibes for forever. Cause I just didn't feel like that was how I win a set long-term, or win lots of sets long-term. So.
No, I think that the focus that you've placed in the Fox Ditto makes a ton of sense, and I think that like bumping it for the week also makes a ton of sense. So yeah, we can do same time next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'll move it forward right now on my calendar, so I don't end up at the grocery store like a bozo.
Oh my God, get over that. It's fine. I'm over it.
It was just the stupidest. But okay, let me I'll move. I'll move that one. Anyway, not to eat up the last few minutes of our session here. I just rescheduling things, but it is helpful to talk through some of these things, because again, I've already written it to you before, but it's kind of nice to just get out my mental models on on paper to you or, you know, over the call, because there are part of these sessions is helpful to find blind spots in where I'm thinking about things. Not always just in the micro options or micro situations, but like maybe I'm underestimating my influence in a situation or overestimating, and you know, it tends to be the underestimating actually. But
yeah, no, you're sick. You need to like to quote Acklo, you need to let your nuts hang more. Like, it's just
yeah, I fucking love Acklo. That guy is the best.
He is hilarious. He's a riot. But no, I mean it. Like, I think that you underestimate just how terrifying you are sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like you haven't really gotten that kind of feedback from people before, but like, I mean it. Like, you're difficult to crack, and I think that when you start using, like, you can dash dance somebody out of the game, but you become way more complete as I've seen you continue to go through this. Like, these are real, like, your hitbox placement in these games specifically, miles better than what I have seen out of you, like, previously. This is a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree. Josh remarked that I've been playing. He said that the sacrifice for how I was playing, and he said he liked, like, he was having a good time. Normally, one of us is really salty in our sessions, because there's a lot of random shit going on. But I think what changed it is I was like, just like play every situation honestly. Like make a sincere guess as to what's going to happen next and play by it. And lo and behold, it turns out my judgment's really good. And so he was like, the sacrifice you're making is that I felt like you were quite a bit slower playing me today. Like he just felt like I was slow in spots that I'm normally quick and hit him for, like, by being quick. But I was like, you know what though? It's sort of like, do I want to be a bull in a china shop like most of the time, but then when I'm unable to do that, I feel totally helpless? Or do I want to be methodical and it takes more effort versus everybody, but I win like a lot?
You are embracing the challenge of Fox.
Yeah. Whirling dervish or thoughtful aristocrat. I don't know.
I will tell you, you only get to be the best player of the character if you do the second one. Like, if you do the one that's methodical. Because the thing is, like, Fox has so many unique challenges, I think, that don't really get talked about. But you're gonna be everyone's best matchup. Well, not like literally everyone. Dawson exists, but like you're going to be a lot of people's best matchups.
Dawson catching strays.
You know what?
Dawson is not a great versus. I know. He
is amazing versus
Dawson in the Ditto.
He is amazing versus floaties. I will give him that. I will happily lend that to him. But yeah, his Fox game is like not impressive. But everything else is fire. So if he just needs to get on that.
No, I agree.
Yeah. But my point is that, like, you don't have the luxury of the opponent having inexperience against you. You don't, and if you do, which is why when people get to the top with Fox with a very, like, personalized style, like a very, like, this is how I like to play kind of style, instead of something that is mechanically sound, they tend not to hold the crown.
Yeah.
And we've seen this happen with all of the Foxes that kind of were like there and then gone. Like, it's really just Moki and it's really just Leffen and Cody that ever held the crown with Fox for any, like, significant period of time. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. I think that if you want to be a complete player and the best player you can be, this direction makes a ton of sense. It is harder, but it is also, you know, more. There's more road ahead.
It's more consistent. There's less pub stomping going on, but like it happens in a lot of games where like you pub stomp up till a point, and then you just end up with your pants around your ankles because you're playing someone that doesn't lose to that. And then what do? And it's just a very shallow.
Pick Marth.
Like that's
give up and go Marth.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know. I the more I've been playing this, I was like, man, being 20% slower but 500% more correct is a pretty cool trade-off. Like,
oh my god, it's so good.
And it's like I'm like, yeah, this character's fast as fuck, but it's like, I don't know, just using it in the right bursts, right moments. So we'll see if this revelation sticks. But like, I've been playing slower, and it's like finally getting to go through your backlog of all your favorite movies and things you've never watched that you should have. It's like all this data just comes pouring in once you are playing at a speed that you can watch the game at, and not just the speed you can physically input at. Not saying I'm not thoughtful in the way I've been playing up until now, but not nearly as thoughtful as I could be. That's all.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's phenomenal. I have my next session starting, so I'm gonna have to let you go. But keep up the phenomenal work, and I'll see you next week.
yeah.
I hope you do get some sessions in, like a session in versus Faust.
Yeah.
One thing I want to ask you about, actually. So when was the last good Jigglypuff you played in tournament?
Khalid at Don't Park, and I lost.
Okay, was that recorded or is that anywhere?
Yeah. I think it is. So we can go over it in contrary and compassed.
Can you send that to me? I just want to skim it and see what it looks like. That's all. Like
Yep.
So yeah, get that to me, and then I'll see you next week.
Yeah, sounds good. Have a good one, David.
Later.
Thanks.